Alright, so I'm gonna try and do a sketchbook tour. A lot of my sketchbooks have more than 100, like 200 pages. So I don't want to do a whole one and it be like an hour. So what I'm thinking about doing is either doing them in parts or just showing the pages that I like the most and thing, or something like that. So this is just going to be my first try, but essentially this is the sketchbook that I'm working on at the moment. The way my sketchbooks work is that they're not really that good. They're not collectively like all good work. Like some of it is good, some of it is just me practicing. But I do like to just fill out a page, you know. I know that I learn a lot when I'm drawing, and I kind of just take those pages and those drawings and kind of try and transfer them to other things. So it's kind of just a progressive like learning stage for me. But yeah, so when it comes to this first page, this is all about the rap group Run the Jewels. I thought that their music style is very similar or can be put into the world of like Cyberpunk. I know they have a Cyberpunk song, so you know I wanted Killer Mike to be in a mecha suit, and then LP to be like just a kind of minion on his shoulder. So drew out the idea, haven't kind of really put it into more detail, but I'm thinking about doing it. May not get around to it, who knows. This is kind of following the same cyberpunk type of idea. Again, these are sketches. I want it to be like a cyberpunk character in like a convenience store, you know, 2 robot arms, maybe some goggles, and I don't know, just a perspective pose. Again, haven't really visualized it properly. Moving on to kind of like an anime style thing, Chainsaw Man. These are kind of like my thumbnails for the idea I wanted. I've tried to draw it out, but it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, so I guess I'm going back to the drawing board with that one. Then Jujutsu Kaisen, I wanted to do a kind of drawing for that. I don't really know where I wanted to go with it. I had a thumbnail there. I don't think I had enough steam to actually go through with it. Skip these ones. Some more Chainsaw Man drawings. Thumbnail for like a Finn the Human type drawing. Some other ideas I had somewhere. Again, more thumbnails. But I didn't really have a specific idea I wanted to do behind it. But because I like the poses are very important to me when it comes to drawing, especially when it comes to perspective, because you can do a lot with the character because of that pose or perspective. So whenever I draw these out, it's like I can transfer them to any idea, which I'm trying to do more now. This was just me trying to draw from my head, just improvise, like no reference, try and get an idea out of my head. That's something I want to get better at, so that's why I practiced it here. But you know, I also want there to be some sort of basic idea behind it, so I don't want it to just be rambling on a page. I want it to actually make sense, so that's something I'm trying to get better at. Some more thumbnail ideas, just trying to get things from my imagination to paper, but I don't think I'm going to visualize any of these into more detailed drawings. This is me trying to just work on like quick lines and creating a scene without putting too much pressure on the detail. That can always be a problem. You start drawing and you have to put in the background, the characters and all of that, and then you realise you're not even having fun with it. So it's just me trying to practice getting all the information on a page without being too crazy with the detail, which I think I kind of did well here. Some more thumbnail ideas. This one I actually went through with and I drew it later on. I've done it a couple times because I just really liked the way it looked. So yeah, that's kind of, and I used this this pose is from another sketchbook that I transferred into these characters, so Wolverine and Deadpool. My original idea was them playing football, but when I drew it out it didn't really work. But you can see the thumbnails here. I used some pictures of people playing football and it looks cool when I do them as the thumbnail because I can really get that dynamic things going. But when I was trying to transfer it to the detailed stuff, didn't really work as well. I think I needed to work a bit more on my gestural lines to kind of, you know, make it seem like they're moving. I remember what that is. Then essentially I got like a water brush pen which I liked, and I wanted to kind of see how I can change colors, different kind of grayscales, just using one brush, which was the aqua brush pen, which really worked well. And I think this was kind of my phase where I wanted to like do some comic book style kind of stuff, so this was just me practicing that. So yeah, this kind of comic book style, drawing the same character again. Obviously I used like a reference for this one, and I was like, okay, cool, I've got a character, try and put them in a scene. So just improvise, try and see what you can do with it, and then go from there, which is pretty fun. And yeah, I think this was me again practicing quick poses, you know, warming up. Here's me trying to practice my perspective with kind of like cop type characters essentially. And then you can see it again, me here, I've taken that drawing from before and I've transferred it into the bit more detail. And in fact I take this drawing and I put it into another drawing, which again I told you I wanted to practice, you know. It's like one of the fun things about drawing is that when you know how to do something, or when you visualize it properly, you can draw it again and kind of just add more detail, fix things, but essentially you know it's going to look good, which is always fun. Like, one of the worst things about being an artist is you draw something, you have an idea in your head and you want to make it look good, but it doesn't look good. So if you can make a drawing look good, just keep doing that thing, even if you're just copying it. Next page is some John Wick ideas. I don't know why, but I have this idea in my head where Kermit the Frog and John Wick are fighting alongside each other. So I've got a lot of these ideas that essentially follow that type of premise. Some more just pose practice. Practicing my quick gestural drawings using, this is baseball, I think, so throwing the ball, you know, you have to have a lot of movement, and you also have to try and capture it as well. So that was me practicing that. This is me using pencil. I think I just wanted to practice shading, you know, and shapes in that sense. Again, here's some more perspective drawings. practicing, you know, the arms as well, which can be very important to kind of show. Like you have to have two kind of planes, I guess, like the arm is in front and the body's behind, but you also have to be able to capture that properly. Then yeah, I went back to this kind of like comic book style type situation. Again, this is me improvising a bit, you know. Sometimes drawing faces can be boring, so you kind of switch it up, put an animal head there. You know, I put these speech boxes to give the vibe of a comic book, though I'd have nothing to really write there. I don't know what's going on myself. Yeah, this is me again using the same pose but kind of switching it up a bit. Like I said, I like to just use the same thing, you know, add a bit more, try out something different. So this is me using that aqua brush pen again to kind of just give it a bit of shading. But at the end of the day, I think I like this one a bit more. You know, sometimes less is better. I like mecha stuff. I do it a lot, but sometimes I just give up for a while, so I think this is me trying to warm up so I don't like overextend myself. Back to some comic book style things. I like this one because I think I used two different ways of trying to shade, but this whole different color was not my intended outcome, but it still came up very well, so I enjoyed it. Enjoyed creating this one. Just some doodles. I think this is just some warm-ups. This page, I think I was trying to start with making the drawing really complex, but then I realized that when you really try and focus on just making it seem detailed, you start to make mistakes, so I just turned it into a practice page, essentially. And then I think from this point on, there's going to be a lot of observational drawings. I think I started to realize I need to get better at looking at things quickly and drawing them instead of having all this time to just focus, and then you realize you're not as good as an artist as you thought you were. So yeah, just some observational drawings from my train rides when I'm going out or going to work. And I think these ones actually turned out really well. I think it definitely gave me a bit more confidence in my drawing ability. And these aren't observational drawings, but I'm trying to practice how I can use different art mediums. So my pens, this is the ballpoint pens. So obviously when it comes to observational drawings, it's about how quickly you can capture things. So, but I also wanted to be able to add shading, so things like this, drawing the same thing, but trying to see which pen would be the best for drawing it. Then here I'm using, again, cop references to use pen, shading, practice those kinds of things. You know, I want to use less pencil because that can also take up a lot of your time, so that's me switching it up a bit. This is an observational, but I used a train drawing from a reference, or a reference to do this train drawing to kind of practice my ballpoint pen skills. I really like the way this one turned out, just in terms of the pen. Obviously I used a reference, but to replicate the kind of anatomy of the head, I kind of practice, you know, simplifying it to kind of get those original shapes. And yeah, I think I do that a lot now. Like if I do a good drawing, I kind of just try and break it down to get to the earlier steps so I can rebuild it again. Yeah, and then obviously, as I was saying before, it's kind of John Wick Kermit the Frog type situation. I just wanted to see what idea I can get out of it. So, you know, them posing, shootouts and car drives and things like that. So I still haven't created my detailed drawing of it, but it's coming soon, 100%. This is some life drawing that I've done in the past. Again, John Wick and Kermit the Frog. Very weird idea. This page, I wanted to practice my timing, so I wanted to do quick drawings using maybe thumbnails from different sketchbooks, but trying to, you know, use pencil to kind of capture the idea properly. Then this is a page, I think I titled it Storyline, so it's like I take an idea, try and create different like comic book panels to kind of get the idea out on a page. And I think I've visualized some of these drawings in later pages. This is me trying to test out some comic book / cartoon styles, you know, trying to add more ink to the page. Cyberpunk characters, I need to get better at that, so that's something I'm practicing. Some anatomy references, some more concept art ideas. Akira. This one I actually did as a proper drawing, but I also wanted some references behind it so I can kind of look at them and also add to the page, because doing mecha can be really hard sometimes, especially if you don't have a reference. It can kind of get a bit blobby, so just try to draw that out beforehand. Then more observational drawings, testing out different pens and different ways I can do it quickly. Observational drawing. I like the way this one turned out. I think I was able to capture a bit more of the kind of, you know, making it a bit more 3D, kind of making it pop, especially when I left out these gaps and made it a bit darker here and there. Trying out some comic book style things from Adventure Time. Okay, cool. So I think I will leave that as a part 1 and then try a part 2 later on, but I think that's probably like, what, 50 pages? That should be enough. Right. Thank you for watching, and let me know what you thought about it, and if you want me to do